That's bullshit.
So,
Oh yeah.
wore one of my favorite T-shirts. We're gonna have to start comparing T-shirts.
Yeah, I drank what?
Yeah, Socrates, $3.99. I drank what?
Oh my God.
Oh, and I forgot. I got this hat a long time ago. It was in the four-wheeler. I just, saw it the other day. I love this Truth Orange.
What's that mean?
I don't know, but it says conscious on the front, so I'm conscious.
This is conspicuous.
Yeah.
In my hat, this is. I buy a lot, I had bought a lot of road cases for music equipment
Oh
and
yeah.
stuff like that, and this is that company, Road Ready.
Road ready.
Road Ready cases.
What are the guys that move the bands? What roadies?
Roadies.
Must be Roadie's favorite hat.
Roadie's hat. Yeah. And let's move that over there. Put that. We ain't gonna use that. We'll use that. Let me go get us some coffee. What do you say?
I'm in. I'll do the placement. Oh
Got little prizes in here now.
yeah. I just want the money.
Get the two biggest cups here. Yeah.
Man, look at those North Dakota, Minnesota plates up there.
What now?
Car plates. Oh, I like that Cajun one. So, tell us where we're at.
Okay. White and black. Don't be racist about it. Which one you want?
I don't care.
Okay. We are at Jan's. Now,
Jan's.
Jan's just outside of Mineral Springs, heading to Ashdown. And
Ashdown to all you northerners.
yeah, and she's got a great little spot here. We just enjoy visiting and meeting up here and eating her good food and recommend it
Jan's.
to Jan's.
Oh, and today is brought to you by Rapture Day.
Rapture Day, that's right, because we'll have aliens when the sun's blocked.
Yeah, that's
out
right.
by-
They'll be coming and grabbing people.
by a big
Dibs.
unspinning rock.
Dibs on your boots.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, this is going to be a big perfect. No, it's not. It's going to be the big rock is going to get. Now the interesting thing is, the moon is at the exact diameter and exact distance from the sun to do a full blockage of the sun. Now I know it's weird.
I didn't know that.
Yes, you did. We studied it in school.
Well, I've only seen two of them.
Yeah, I was telling Karen, I said, no, how many? I remember two total eclipse and some partial eclipse.
That must have been a partial a few years back here in Arkansas. It literally stopped everything. Of course, at that time I was working at the lab out there in Pine Bluff, and all these guys are scientists, and they're like running out there with their little shadow boxes.
Yeah.
They had all kinds of things set up. I'm like, well, there went work.
See, and I remember in the 70s, with a total eclipse, I think it was in Oregon, that I built the shadow
Did you?
box
Yeah.
thing, and yeah, that's pretty cool.
That must have been, what, 76?
Yeah,
Because
I just got back to Oregon.
we were living in Minot, and I didn't even know it was happening. I'm outside and our house, and things started getting weird. I'm like, what in the world? So
The park on Saturday had a little, no, Saturday, I guess it was Saturday. Can't remember. It was so long ago. That's like over 24 hours. So what's the point of remembering? Had a little shing-ding going on in the park. And people were there. And I was telling Karen, I says, well, if we have a cloudy day, which is generally the case in Oregon, some celestial event's going to happen,
Yeah.
and well, the whole state's covered in clouds, right? I said we should reach out to Andy Pope and throw him $100 to have him take us up in his airplane
Flies.
above the clouds. Yeah, I'm like, okay.
Uh,
I've seen them. Yippee skippy. If I don't see it this time, that's okay too.
well, I got up this morning to do my chores, and which is feed the dogs, the cats, and
Go to the bathroom. Make
yeah, went outside to finish the job. That's what I love about living in the country.
Oh yeah, you can't beat it.
And saw thunder and lightning. Well, saw lightning, didn't see thunder southeast of us. Because I walked down like nice and clear, and I actually had empathy for folks that have spent a lot of money so even their kids can see it. Brought them along to see it here,
No,
and it would just be
loving it.
it'd just be horrible for them to have cloud cover and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look how clear it's going to be. Good, great. And then all of a sudden I look over and I'm like, oh my God, thunderstorm.
I know. And I guess there's supposed to be a pretty good influx of people coming to visit. And I'm like,
Well, enough for the governor to announce a state of emergency.
I did not know.
Oh
that.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Liz goes, did you see what you? I'm like, it's just a precaution. Who knows what kind of crazy crap's going to happen afterwards? And I go, especially after the rapture.
Dude,
I says, think all the great clothes we can find.
and talk about boots. You want to look for the good. Work boots.
Oh yeah, of
Steel
course.
toes,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you bet.
The
I
leather
don't
that's
know.
been treated,
I'll take some of those Italian shoes. Those would be nice.
Give me some of them alligator skin shoes.
Oh my God, I've been in the South too long. I said Italian. I got corrected big time when I was talking to somebody about Italian. He goes, "What'd you say?"
What'd you
I said,
Would you bow up?
I said Italian. He goes, "It's Italian."
Italian.
Italian. He was from Pennsylvania. Yeah, he was from Pennsylvania, so he knew how to say it. I didn't.
Maybe
Fun.
did he speak Pennsylvania Dutch?
No. He was a fun guy. He was my last hunting party partner up in North Dakota. He was a KC-135 pilot. Folks wanted him in the Air Force, so they sent him to the Air Force preparatory school, and then he went to the academy and all that stuff. And but loved to hunt.
Yeah.
Knew nothing about it. He was literally subjected to, guys that. Well, I told him we were talking one day. How I met him was in the safety office. There was the flight safety division of it,
Sure.
and that's all young pilots and stuff like that, and that come in to do the flight safety world. And he'd come in every once in a while, so I got to meet him. And he's the guy. His wife is from Garvin, Oklahoma, and when I met him, we found out that they've got a daughter. Here's some similarities to us. Okay, when I met him, we got to talking and everything, and he lived down in Grand Forks, so did we. And his wife was a professor of law at the University of North Dakota, and so we get to comparing notes and everything. Come to find out that I have a daughter that works at Wendy's downtown, and he had a daughter that worked at Wendy's. I'm like, wow. Well, there's two Wendy's. They worked at different Wendy's, but they were both in the same school, and they were both on the same soccer team.
Oh.
Tia and I want to say Mandy, but I can't think of her name right now. But anyhow, so we get these similarities and stuff. What was the big censure was when he invited us over for pizza and a movie over at their house. So we went, and kids came with us. Tia and Jeremy. And so we get to talking to his wife Kelly, and Liz and Kelly get to talking, and so Kelly's like, "How y'all doing?" And Liz is like, hey, well, so where are you from? "Oh, I'm from Oklahoma.
Oh, geez.
She goes, oh, yeah, well, I'm from Arkansas. Oh, where at? And she says, well, best way to explain it, about 30 miles from Texarkana. And she goes, oh, my God, I'm about 30 miles from Texarkana. And she was from Garvin. And so she, just the same area, basically.
Right, right.
And they were both Methodist girls.
Oh, geez.
I was just really getting really weird.
Like, just two peas in a pod here.
But anyhow, he asked me one day, hey, you gonna hunt, deer hunt this year? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And I says, I guess, I don't know. And he says, oh yeah, man, get your license. I've got some friends that'll, there's a guy that's married this girl. Her dad's got a farm, and he invites people out from the base to go hunt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, well, okay, because I knew Minot in that area, where to hunt and stuff.
Right.
But I didn't know anything about the eastern side of the state, and so anyhow, he introduced me to this guy. He was a crew chief. He worked out on he was a crew chief on one of the aircraft. And so, long story short, he takes me over to his house and introduces me because he's got to introduce me. It's like the mafia, This guy's the mafia boss on the hunting, And so he starts talking.
First be blessed.
And I know. I mean, this guy's like acting like, well, I don't trust you.
Drop your trousers, get on your knees, and walk up to the altar.
This guy's kind of acting crazy, and I probably he just didn't want anybody else, any more people out there. I think he probably invited half the young guys that want to shoot guns on the base there. So long story short, we walk out and we get in his truck and we're driving off. I'm like, I says, okay, I'll go with you on opening day and see how this all works out. So we get out there on opening day, and this guy's like almost directing traffic. Okay, you go on now, you guys go down. I mean, there was a bunch of people there.
5 deer tied up in a tree over there.
And we pulled up, and he walks up, and he's kind of upset at everything, I guess, that was going down. And he starts telling us, oh man, I don't know if we can, we got any more room for you and everything. And he goes, what do you mean you don't have room for you? Blah, blah, blah. And the guy turned away and was talking to somebody else. I says, hey man, you don't need him. I says, we can find a place. Yeah. I says, it's all CRP land around here anyhow. I says, farmers don't.
He don't own it.
Yeah. And I says, let's just go on down the road. There's got to be some good places for deer around here. I says, it looks just like what I'm used to. Mm-hmm. So we got down there, and sure enough, popped a couple of bucks, and he's like, wow, how'd you know that? I says, I lived in North Dakota for going on 19 years. I says, I've been hunting the entire time. I says, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I just didn't know the area, right. But it looks just like the area I'm used to. So
because it's all flat.
Yeah, and so he was all excited about it after that. I said, you don't need that guy. He's a jerk. And so, yeah, we got a couple deer that day, and then went out again and got a couple of bucks, and that was the last deer I shot in North Dakota, because I went to Texas after that.
I never did pick it up like, Dad and you, and I don't even know David did, but Ted did. Oh. He hunted a lot.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a story, and of course David's going to see this and probably say, that's bullshit. Well, but that's what this is about.
We embellish stories. Yes, that's what we do.
But this is according to Dad. When Dave
you can't prove them.
When Dave got back, or I don't know I guess he's out of the military by that time. Ted, and I'm probably getting this wrong, but Ted, and Dave and Dad, they went out went deer hunting, okay, and they went up on Reston Ridge area, Sugar Pine Road. On Sugar Pine Road, I don't know if you remember that.
I heard Sugar Pine Road.
Okay,
the Reston Ridge, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to stop and say the coolest thing I always liked about going up there was they had Chankey pin. This is what Dad said, Chankey pin trees. and the squirrels just love those things. And it was like these nuts that had like porcupines around them. I mean, I don't know how they got through
Sort of
that.
like a sweet gum ball.
No, it's worse than this. These things stuck you, but there's a nut inside. So,
They had little hooks on them.
but he called them shaky pins. But anyhow, this is how I remember it. Dad said that they got up there, and Ted and Dad got out of the car and said, "Okay, well we're gonna head on down here." And Dave says, I'm just gonna sit in the car and wait for you and everything." Dad.
City
Dad
boy.
didn't say it this way, but it made it sound like he's totally disinterested in this,
Uh-huh.
And so anyhow, so Dad said, we'd gone down come off this ridge, and we're down it a little ways. And oh, by the way, folks, that's how you hunt in the Northwest.
Oh yeah.
You don't sit on stands and throw corn out.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
have them tied to a tree.
Yeah. But anyhow, he said we're down there, and all of a sudden, boom. And they're like, "You think David shot something? That sounded like it came from that area." So they did their thing, and they come back up, didn't see anything, and they get to the car, and Dave's still sitting in the car. And Dad like I said, this is how I remember it. Dad said, "So, was that you that shot?" He says, "Yeah, I got it. There's a deer dead right over there."
You guys go gut it.
Yeah.
Bring it back here. Thanks.
I just looked at him and said, "Yeah, so he didn't, he wasn't it.
I'm
Nope."
gonna sit here and read my book.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. So I'm sure, like I said, Dave's going to say that's
good for you, Dave.
that's highly
Yeah.
BS, but
Yeah.
that's the way I remember the story. And that's
We
Dad
can't-
talking.
Yeah, and we can't prove it. I mean, because you'll never reveal the true story.
So I was telling you about the booth.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay.
You gotta bring everybody in on this booth thing.
All right. So, I do my side hustle, the eBay stuff, selling stuff, and I love doing it. I mean, you don't make a lot of money, but it's kind of fun to do. And I'm retired. It keeps me busy, gets me out looking for stuff,
Uh-huh.
and which don't let me forget to tell you the Josh story. This is for David. Okay.
Okay.
But so anyhow, I made a list. I was on a list for a booth. I finally got the booth,
This was in
Last month.
This is in Mineral Springs.
Mineral Springs, and I was a little bit. Do I want to do it or do I not want? I'm like, I've been on the list so long, I might as well do it. And with my knee operations coming up, maybe this will work. I don't know. Well, the booth was $50 a month. Is $50 a month, and like I told you, I made $45, and they take everything. The way they work it is all the money goes into paying for the booth, and then anything left you get.
Right.
If it's not enough, you pay.
But they don't take a commission.
No commission. They just make sure they get their money.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyhow, which is fine. I didn't care.
Fair enough.
But it's like anything else, retail. You've got to figure out how to hook them. And I probably could if I wanted to get into it that deep.
Right.
But here I am hauling stuff over there, and I'm like,
This is labor.
it even changed.
This is work.
I go to these auctions, and it even changed my way of looking at the auction because, when I'm looking for specific stuff to move fast. Okay, that's all I want. And
Oh, here comes Jan. Here
oh,
comes
it's Jan. Oh, Jan.
The proprietor of this wine establishment.
Say hi, Jan. Say hi, Jan.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I can't run.
We love Jan.
So anyhow, I decided.
Can I get your bar of butter?
Thank you very much. That's Jan. Did we tell you that's Jan?
Yeah, that's Jan.
So anyhow, long story short, I decided because, it's like I was telling you, they recommend, because I did a little homework, they recommend that, you change up everything at least once a month, So,
Makes sense.
some guy comes in, sees something 3 times and you moved it over there and all of a sudden he wants to buy it. Okay, well, I believe that's real, but so
Well, and my showroom at my store, I dust it once a month. Or I hired Jamie's girlfriend. She would come in and
Thank you,
clean the
Jan.
place. Thank you, Jan.
Looks great.
She would come and clean the place. Did a great job. Oh, and our cousin Michelle, she did that too. Anyway,
So
yeah, it'll
anyhow,
work. Yeah, I get it.
so I've been bringing stuff over, and I decided no. And so I paid my booth price.
Thank you, Jan.
I owed $5, and I told him I'm putting in my 2 weeks. It's just not me. I could never do what Jan does.
Okay, so here's the thing. Now, Joe, he popped up to the top of the list of getting a booth because he whined the most.
Yeah, that's how I got it.
He would call about every 6 hours. Is there a booth ready? Can I have a booth? And apparently this particular place, the more you whine, the higher you went on the list.
Yes.
They would look at that.
So remember, guys, whining works.
And now he's wanting to just,
Yeah,
it requires labor.
it
And I'm retired.
It requires thought. And it's like, and then everything's hit and miss.
Well, sure.
I mean,
And we're talking Mineral Springs.
well, but I've seen people in from Texas that drop in there,
Yeah.
and sometimes they have some stuff. I mean,
Well, I've been in that.
oh, see the squirrel's nest?
Squirrel's nest is closed.
Yeah.
And our cousin owned that. He was
Cousin.
Yeah. Lemon. Marty? No. Lemon. I want to say Christine's son. Yeah. Anyway. So,
Well,
I'll try this, see what that does.
they did a really good setup, I thought.
Yeah, it came as a surprise to me why they were closed, because they put a lot into putting that together.
Yeah. I liked, they had this program that, go ahead and do your thing, whatever you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. They had a, I don't know what went wrong.
Well, I don't know what went wrong, but I love their process. I actually gave it a consideration, because what they did was you could be sitting at home and making up the tags for everything, and it was all computerized, and they put UPC symbols on it, and they could track everything. I thought, God, that's great inventory control. They really did some thought on that, and I thought that was great. I think the problem is the customer base.
You think so?
Yeah. I've gone in there a couple times, looking for a little, maybe something I could, move and stuff. And I found a couple things. And they weren't exorbitantly priced, and that was the thing. But there are people that just really bump up the prices, and I'm like, and it could be because some of their booths were like $90 a month.
Yeah.
And it might seem like, well, of course you could sell $90 worth of stuff. Not true. In today's, the way things are. The
University of Texas at Austin is laying off dozens of employees.
the boomer group isn't collecting anymore.
Right, and the thing is that people are looking for the cheap right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't think they're walking away with a deal, they're not going to buy it. At least, people are doing comparison in their mind. Okay, if I ordered this online, I'll save money or...
Well, it's like this. When I first started doing this side hustle, I made huge mistakes on buying stuff, and I knew I would.
Right.
It's a matter of learning, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's where I, use my famous saying: you need to move the romance out. Stop thinking about you and think about what's real. And I mean, I bought pieces of glass that I thought amazing, and people aren't interested in that stuff because why? It's stuff, and the
Yeah.
people that are buying, yeah, sure, there's still a group of people that still buy, at our age,
Right.
but people are not really. They're not really interested in that unless it's unique stuff. Okay, and so that's what I look for. I just look for unique. I mean, I could walk in this room and it'd be full of great-looking glass pieces, but now I know that's great, but it doesn't move.
And you're looking for things that'll flip.
Yeah, that's what I want.
That's what you want.
And I thought the booth would be a great idea, or having the thrift booth would be a great idea to move stuff that I know isn't going to work. It might work, but it'll take forever. And that's okay. I can live with that. But it's
And
got to
the
move.
demographic.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was at this auction, a lot of unique stuff, very cool stuff. I told you about the meteorite, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's sold.
Did it?
I put it on bid, and I started the bid at 45, and I had I don't know, 60 looks at it, views,
Uh-huh.
and then there was about 12 watchers. And I know this is how the game goes. When you're doing stuff like that, if you start the bid high, $45 was fine. It paid for everything.
Right.
And that's the guy that got it. It was a single bid. He bid 45, and he got it for $45. That's one of the ways you play the game. But at that same auction, I bought 2 cameras, and one was a Kodak camera, little small digital camera,
Oh, wow.
and the other one was a Canon digital camera. And they were both in great shape. Now there was some, and I meant to get this. There was a Nikon lens. I was meant to bid on. I forgot to, but there was.
So the DSLR had.
Yeah, there were SLRs and all kinds of stuff. And this one guy, he bought all those up, and that's great. He might have a market for that, but those don't sell so easy.
Oh, really?
No, not the big ones.
Oh,
Big.
not unless you're. Yeah.
So the market I'm targeting on those is the young Xers, and stuff like that. Both those cameras went to China. Yeah. So that's what you got to look for too.
To sell to people that are coming over here,
Not coming over here.
to vacation.
No,
They have a camera.
no. It's just kids that are doing all the stuff that they do nowadays, but they want a camera to take a picture and all that. And these were in great shape. And matter of fact, I listed them and they sold pretty much immediately.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay, because they don't want to take the pictures on their phones because those are all linked into the Chinese Republic Party.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
With a DSLR, there's no broadband connect to it.
Mm-hmm.
Plot thickens.
Well, I just like to think that young kids, they're living in the matrix that's been, developed for them. And, to have a little camera at the club, is a good thing. Anyhow.
I like my theory.
Oh, no, it's a good one. But those are the kind of things I'm learning. I went to an auction the other day, And literally, well, I got two auction stories for you. Literally, um, there was nothing there that
That's weird.
I would be interested in except
okay.
one thing, and I waited around for it and I got it.
What was that one thing?
It was it's called a Mother Hubbard washboard. It's got rollers on it. Okay.
Never seen a washboard with rollers.
Yep. No, I didn't either. But it was in the pictures, and I'm like, I want that. And I checked it out, and sure enough, it sells. And I've already sold it. And
Okay, so it's one of the
it's
washboards
it's a washboard, but it's got rollers on it
instead of
of yep. And it's
Well, how do
and
you get anything clean with that?
I don't know, don't care. But it's a true antique because it's I think they stopped making them like in the 20s or something like that.
Because it didn't wash any clothes.
Probably. Look good, sound good, but you can't play music on it.
Yeah, you can't do it.
Yeah.
It's not even
Yeah.
diversified.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, no, I already sold that. But I got to tell you about this one I went to. It's kind of an off. Well, the guys I go to that I like their auctions, they didn't do it. They didn't do any this weekend. So, but there was one out in Blevins, Arkansas. Dude, I went out there. And I saw people that I wouldn't make eye contact with. I'm like, I no, I don't want to have. I want them to forget me
lose my number.
because these people are. And don't get me wrong, to each their own. Love, live, whatever you want to do. But there were a couple guys there. I don't know.
Did they scare you?
They kind of scared me.
Did they kind
Yeah.
yeah, those kind of people.
And I'm like, I looked, and I'm telling you, now you got to remember, my mindset is,
From around here, are you, boy?
yeah,
Not for a mouth.
my mindset is like, you know what I'm looking for? It wasn't there. Nothing.
See, yeah.
Not a thing. They had guns and stuff like that, and I still don't know how to. I'm not gonna, unless I want to buy it for myself. There's no reason to me even entertain it because I don't know what are you going to do with it. How do you sell them?
Unless it's a private sale.
Yeah. So that was it. Everything else was. Well, I had a garage sale or a yard sale last year, and it reminded me of all the crap that I inherited that just sat around and rusted and stuff. It's interesting, but it's useless. And that's pretty much what this was. Guy had a couple of boxes of antlers. I guess somebody wanted to make a lamp out of it or whatever, or make pipes or something. I don't know.
You sell it to a Chinese medicine man.
Yeah,
They'll grind it up into powder.
Mm-hmm. But I got out of there. I'm like, ugh. Middle of nowhere. And you're right. You ain't from around here, are you, boy?
I hear banjos somewhere. Where that coming from? Tell me
But
about the Josh thing.
okay, wait.
Okay.
On my way back from that, I had an interesting run-in. I was on Buck Range heading home, and there's two cyclists with their panners and everything. So these guys aren't from town; they're traveling.
Coming for the eclipse.
I might be. I didn't ask them that, but
Rode down from New York.
no, they were from. One guy was from Albuquerque, the other one was from Sacramento.
Oh, wow.
So I pull up. They're on Buck Range Road. Okay, I pull up and I'm like, "Hey, you guys lost?"
And from around here, are you?
And they were off their bikes, standing with the bikes in front of them because that's where what's her name that has all the dogs right in front of her house, and she's got like 6 dogs that just sit out.
Great place to stop and
Yeah, and
take a selfie.
and I'm like, and they're like, no, we're just trying to get past these dogs. Like, oh, these guys won't hurt you. Well, they sure make it pretty convincing. I'm like, yeah, I get it. So I got to talking to them. That was fun. They're heading to Hot Springs. He has a brother. The guy from Albuquerque has a brother up there, and
They're on Buck Range Road.
well, they're right.
In Hot Springs.
Yeah, they're heading to Hot Springs. And I told him, I said, look,
Opposite direction.
no, they were heading to Nashville, then to Hot Springs.
They were heading into
Yeah,
Nashville
yeah.
on Buck Range.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they probably turned off on the Mineral Springs Highway and come up probably the road right past our house.
Gotcha.
And but I says, I got one piece of advice for you. I says, be very careful on the roads. I said, be very careful. You know, people around here are crazy. And they go, well, we've met a lot of nice people. I said, no, I'm talking about drivers.
Yeah.
I says, just please be careful.
Yeah.
And
Well, especially on that highway heading to Hot Springs.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But at least you got enough. Well, not always.
No, there's
there's-
some no shoulder places.
I told Liz, I says, I should have went back and said, look, I'll drive you to Hot Springs. I got a truck. Just put them in there and let's get you up there. I don't want anything to happen to you. But I'm sure they made it okay. But I told him, I says, Hot Springs. I says, there's 2 things I want to give you. I says, I was told, I haven't tried this, but a guy told me, I went to an auction one day and I had my old-fashioned T-shirt. It says old-fashioned, shows the old-fashioned drink. He comes up and says, hey, the best old-fashioned in Arkansas is made in Hot Springs. The guys there, they hand make these things and they're actually really good. I'm like, really? And he says, at the Ohio Club in Hot Springs. I said, okay. So I told these guys, it says, I haven't tried it yet, but I was told these are the best old fashions. And I said, I don't know if you drink or not. Oh, yeah. I says, go there and try their old fashioned. Hopefully it'll be good for you. And I says, the other thing is, have your brother take you to the Buck Staff. And they go, what's that? I says, it's a bathhouse. And I says, you got to get there before 11 o'clock because they don't do reservations or anything like that. After 11, they take nobody in. I says, the last time I was there, it was still $50. And I says, you got a bath, a wrap, a sits, a steam, and a rub down for 20 minutes. And I says, and it's all good. They were like, wow. I says, that'll wash some of that road off you. Well, we'll talk to him about that. So it was kind of cool talking to people. When we lived in Minot, if you look where Minot's at, Highway 2 was a thoroughfare for cyclists. Okay, and if let's say you left Devil's Lake, it's 160 miles to Minot, so you're going to stay the night there.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then same way coming from the other way, Williston. If you're coming from Williston, it's basically the same route. So everybody that came either way, they stayed the night in Minot. Well, Minot offered no accommodations for them, so they had to find a place to pitch their tent and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And they always stopped at the Schwinn shop to get their bikes tuned up and everything, right? So I left a big message there, big thing, and say, look, if you're in town, need a place to stay, here's the address. Just ask these guys, because I always went down to the Schwinn shop. And I says, I told them, that just come on over. You don't even have to knock on the door. Just pitch your tent in the back. And I met some very interesting folks.
That reminds me. In Sutherland. Oh, thank you, dear. Dad preached at the Church of Christ there, but it had an attached.
Very good. If I'd stop talking, I'd eat it.
Yeah, I could barely get that down. Notice. Couldn't stop eating. Apartment attached to it.
Yeah.
And the Rainbow Children came through.
Oh, yeah.
Dad's like, pitch your tent, pitch your, whatever. The campus here for you. Because he wanted them to be safe.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, he wanted them to be safe. He didn't care what they were doing.
I mean, I can remember getting up on Saturday morning. This happened many times. There'd be like 2-3 tents in the backyard.
Yeah.
I said, Liz, we're cooking breakfast this morning. Cook breakfast for them. Get to meet these people. Met a couple that were coming out of New Hampshire. Her dad was the adjutant general for the National Guard there. They were going out to Seattle. He had a job. He was an engineer. Had a job in Seattle, and they were riding a tandem bike. It was very cool.
Tandem bike.
Yeah, two people bike.
Yeah, that's.
And then there was Mike DeSisti. I think he was.
I would want the back seat.
Mike was a journalist. He worked for the Newport newspaper, and but he was from Rochester, New York. That's where he started his ride. He was riding across the country. He stayed the weekend with us on 4th of July weekend, and never had a bottle rocket fight before.
Oh, you ain't lived till you had a bottle rocket fight.
Yeah, we kind of scared the crap out of him. But he really, his goal was he was riding to Oregon.
And Roman candles.
Riding to Oregon, and he said, I want to walk out onto the beach on the water. He kept up with us, sent us letters, sent us pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he was going to fly back and decided, I'm going to ride the southern route back, and he did. And so he met this girl in Sri Lanka, and she had a Montessori school, and they got married, and that's where he ended up. The last place because I checked at Newport News, asked some guys if they knew him. Yeah, he's in Sri Lanka and blah blah blah. And he sent us a letter talking about what he's doing and stuff.
Cool.
But it was kind of cool. He was on the Oregon coast, found this sign. I forgot what the sign, like Oregon Dunes or something like that. And somebody had put a big paint sprayed DeSisti on there. And he goes, I didn't do that, but that was his name. So it's cool.
I'm tagging this.
And then he wrote a big article about his travels in the Newport News, and he sent us.
Oh, wow.
And he talked about us. He talked about how he had a blast on I had my first bottle rocket fight and blah, blah, blah. That was cool.
There's nothing better than the smell of phosphorus in the hair in the morning. Smells like victory. Oh, shoot.
Okay, the Josh story.
Yeah, the Josh story. Oh, by the way, I regarding the Rainbow Kids that were heading up to Washington I don't know what they were doing. The Rainbow children, they all wore kind of like galabeas.
They weren't going to Washington. I thought that there was a compound in Oregon that they.
There was one on the east side.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these guys were traveling up. They were sojourning up to Washington anyway.
Walking I-5.
Yeah, and I was a teenager, and my interest in these people who were camping around the church and apartment, what kind of pot you got? And I got some really good sensibility out of some of these fellas. Good, fuzzy, hairy buds. Anyway, back to I just, it was then, this is now, okay. Don't judge.
Who cares? Judge. Do whatever you want.
Okay. See, that's why this is called Brothers Bullshit Breakfast, because a lot of the pot they carried was just dirt weed. And, you smoked what you smoked.
Yeah.
Stems, seeds, and all.
We called it paraquat.
Paraquat. I haven't heard that in years. Paraquat, that's right.
Yeah, hand me some of the paraquat. I'll roll one.
Yeah. Anyway.
No, go ahead.
No, I digressed enough on that.
I did some pictures of those guys.
What's this Josh story all about?
Okay. This is one of the fun things I get to do on my side hustle is go to garage or yard sales and stuff. So I went to a yard sale. Oh, which reminds me, the guy's got a Datsun B210 sitting out there.
Oh, I haven't seen one of those in a day.
And I'm telling you, you got a battery, it'll start and run for another 200,000 miles.
kill those. So
No.
That's when they made. That's when Japanese made cars.
Yeah. So yeah, I went out there, and he lives in the old Thomas house. You remember them, the Thomas girls? Okay.
No, I don't remember.
Well, it was kind of notorious.
Which bus route was that? Your bus route? Or?
No. It's going out towards on the Centerpoint Highway from the hospital. Anyhow, long story short, I went in there, and he had advertised in the paper that he's having this. And he said something about coins. I thought, well, I'll go out there and take a look at this. And I did. I didn't buy any coins from him, which, he didn't have a whole lot of them. But I did buy some books from him. And one of the books was one of the dimes, one of the early dimes. Not a victory dime. No, it's a Liberty head dime. Okay, okay.
Okay.
And so,
I thought that was a Mercury dime.
no, Mercury is
Mercury.
that's Mercury.
Okay.
This is 1800s to the Mercury.
Okay.
Okay. Still learning my coins, but anyhow, I was looking at it and everything. I'm looking them over. He had these books, and they were empty and they were in good shape, so I bought them all because those will sell, not fast, but they'll sell.
Coin books.
Coin books, yeah.
Coin collection books, yeah.
And but I was looking at this one, and he says, "Oh yeah, there's a story, and Dave's going to have to chime in on this, but this is the story I got, and I believe it was the Liberty Head dime. The first time they put out Liberty Head dimes, they just put 10 on it, and they didn't say cent or anything like that. And this guy took these dimes and plated them gold, okay, and was pawning them off as, I think he said $1 gold pieces. Well, it worked for a while, and they finally caught up to this guy. Okay,
It's kind of equivalent to going to a color copying machine and
yeah, making bills, but this was a little different. So what happened was the guy that did this, he was deaf and couldn't speak. Okay,
deaf and mute.
yeah, deaf and mute, and what happened was they couldn't prosecute him because he couldn't communicate.
Couldn't defend himself.
Yeah, so they couldn't prosecute him.
Did he do ASL?
This is like when these things first came out. We're talking before 1900. It was the very first issue of them, and they did not put what denomination it was. I mean, not that what it was in denomination. Okay, they just put 10 on it. Okay, and like I said, this guy's passing them off because they're about the size of a $1 gold piece.
He knew all about electroplating.
He knew all that, but he couldn't
I
communicate.
can electroplate, but I
And
can
they-
tell you how I do it.
And they couldn't, the way this guy explained, couldn't prosecute him because he couldn't communicate. And so they basically had to let it go, okay? But the next year, they put cents on it, on the coins. And the guy's name was Josh. And that's where your term, joshing me, you're joshing me. That's where that term came from.
You are kidding me.
That's what the guy told me.
Oh, great story.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
Great story.
See, that's why I like my side hustle.
Yeah.
I get to hear stuff
Great story.
Yeah, I told him, I said, man, this is amazing.
You're joshing me.
You're joshing me.
Joshing me around. And that came from Josh, who electroplated Liberty Dime.
Yeah,
I couldn't prosecute him because he was deaf and mute.
interesting, huh?
Wow. What a grip. I bet he spoke perfectly. Could hear.
Hey, if you got it, use it.
He had it all figured out.
So that was a great story.
Josh and me. Now you know. See? That's why you got to watch our stuff.
How do you say? Now you know the rest of the
Now
story?
you know the rest of the story is, what was that, Andy Rooney?
Mm-mm.
No, it wasn't Andy Rooney. It was Paul Harvey.
Yeah, Paul Harvey.
Paul Harvey.
Now you know the rest of
Now
the
you know
story.
the rest of the story.
Yeah, that's what I love about this thing, you know. And I love these auctions because it's almost like a church group.
Yeah, I'm sure they're pretty religious about.
No, no, I mean they're religious about it, but it's just like we could have dinner on the grounds with these guys. They're just everybody just kind of knows everybody,
Yeah.
and
Was Marble Guy there?
no, but I think he holds off on stuff. He might be at this next one I'm going to, so we'll see.
You'll have to get his contact
I will.
information.
I'm definitely.
Yeah. Because we need to bring Marble Guy more into our discussions here. Because sounds like a very interesting man.
Hmm.
That's right. I didn't use a pronoun. Get over it. They, them, their, whatever. Cameras. I've been wanting to talk to you. You know, you have your cameras. When do you want to do that? When do you want to get those installed? You said they were solar cameras?
The one outside, we have two for the inside, so Liz can monitor our babies.
Okay.
Which I did tell you about our new babies, right?
No. What? Oh,
Mom, I'm a mom. I'm Mama. I'm Grace. Thank you, Grace. Remember?
the cats. You got new cats
Yeah, and we
that are down in the barn.
not anymore.
Uh-oh.
Well, I had them in cages to keep them from our little tomcat, the one that jumped up in the car, and I had to have
Hey, baby.
had
Around
the
here.
body guys to pull it out. So he got his nuts cut, and
He finally
yeah, that
went
was
down and visited.
that was last Wednesday, and that's when we let him out. Liz brought him up. I'm doing them like I did him when he was a kitten. I don't want any cats to live in the house. I mean, Gus can come in because, he's
Gus been with you for a while.
yeah, and then Fluff Butt, she comes in, but they know what they're doing. When they want to go out, they tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, because there's, but Gandhi, what I did with him was,
You named the cat Gandhi?
actually it's Gandalf the Grey. But that's just too much. So I just call him Gandhi, another famous person in history.
Yeah, he's been around.
But then I also call him Little Butt and,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And God, what a talker. I mean, I could start doing memes with this cat because he's like, "Wah, wah, wah, wah." You've seen those things, the memes where they have the cats, and like this one guy, he's got 4 cats, and they're yellow cats and one's not, and he came along as a rescue and stuff, but they all just they're opening their mouths, so he's making sounds for them. Yeah, let's get it. Where's our food? Stuff like that. So this cat,
In an hour. I'm starved.
this cat would work on that because he just whines. He's obnoxious. He comes in the house, he just starts talking. Goes to eat, gets
I
off.
was in the neighborhood.
Yeah, talking. He just you say something, it's like, oh God. He's obnoxious, but he's a good kitty. So anyhow, Liz brought the cats up to what I did with him was I put him in the shop to have a place to be safe,
Yeah.
and then let him figure all that out and where he can eat and stuff like that. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to open the garage door about this high, okay? And then if he wants to poke his head out and take a look at the world, fine. And after a while, the dogs chewed on him, and they big dog watches out for all the cats, and so he got acclimated to the dogs and the other cats and stuff. So that's what I'm doing with these guys.
Sure.
And so they're in the shop, and they're first day they're in the shop, they knock. That's why it can't be a flat Earth. Remember what I told you? Because the cats would have knocked everything off
Yeah,
the.
right.
So they knock down stuff, and I'm like, oh God. But anyhow, they've all settled down. So I'm feeding them and that. Now I've opened the door, and now Gandhi comes in and eats everything. And but they're getting to run around. They finally made their first trek to the house.
Oh.
So that's what the deal is let them get used to it, let the dogs chew on them, and because Bandit, he'll gnaw on their necks and stuff like that, and he doesn't hurt them, but he just likes to, I guess, play with them and stuff.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I have.
Well,
But I read a thing the other day that there's a cat equation. By the time you're 90, you should have 9 cats. Liz goes, "Oh, we need one more cat." I'm like, "Shut your mouth."
or if you're a woman in your 40s
Yeah,
and single,
yeah, double it.
yeah, double it.
8
Yeah.
cats at least.
Yeah. Get out of the date market. Get yourself some cats. Yeah. Oh man. I was just thinking. Oh, I really got my line right. I've been doing these videos. The temperature's not quite right. The wind's a little strong. Yeah. And what a wine at? And I got to ride along. Put a jacket on for crying out loud. No, it had to be pristine temperature, sunny weather. I finally got out there, got it mowed. You on my other channel, you'll understand. I'm happy to report that I got that.
Yeah, I went out and I planted 2 sawtooth oaks, which they call them water oaks.
Your water table's 6 inches down.
Well, I assumed that was it, and I figured that they're going to do great here. I mean, when we lived out in Woodlawn, that's where I got the idea of. This guy planted like 8 of them down his driveway, 8 on both sides. Beautiful, beautiful trees. And I'm like, I want those, and they don't get super tall.
Yeah.
And but both of them, one died completely. The other one died about this high up. Well, that high down. So I've got branches and stuff. So I cut that off. But yeah, I did all kinds of trimming and stuff. And
What do you think happened?
I don't know. I don't know if it's water or.
So the water oaks probably drowned.
No, I don't think they drown. But I do have.
How ironic.
I have 2 cypress growing right next to the shop. They're looking good. But I don't know.
They're pretty hardy.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought trees lived forever, but I guess not. We'll see. I have 3 more oaks, water oaks growing. We'll see how they do.
Yeah.
I got them in different areas.
Well, you have a shallow water table at your location. And you would think the trees would thrive at that. Their tap roots a foot. Their spider roots are just running on the surface, which is going to be killer for your mower.
After about 4 years with these, they put out that's the other thing. They put out beautiful acorns. Big monsters.
I bet squirrels are loving that. How many of them do you get?
Yeah, let me tell you, how many squirrels you think can get in my yard with that herd? But I took them and put them in pots, and the 3 that I've planted, those are from those trees.
Oh, okay.
And so we'll see how it goes. But I don't know what's doing it. But my Bradford pears that everybody hates, those ones in front of the house there,
Oh, yeah.
those are doing great. I don't think anything can kill them.
Put those in the front?
Yeah,
Are they in the front?
yeah. If you look, 4 of them we got from nursery in Pine Bluff,
Okay.
and then the other 2 we got here.
Sunshine.
Yeah, and the 2 are beautiful. They're bulbed out really nice, and they're pretty. As a matter of fact, the one right next to the breezeway, where the cars are, that one literally the wind broke it, and I thought, oh, and it came back. That thing, So anyhow, I don't think anything can kill those, except I watched a guy caught this meme or a reel or whatever you want to call it, and this guy's showing a tool that they had invented to kill Bradford pear trees because they're in places they've planted them and they've gotten out of control and they're very invasive. And so this guy had this thing. It had like three prongs, and then it had a drill. Oh no. Well, it had three prongs, and it held this hollow drill. No, it was a drill. Drilled in, and then this thing pulled back. No, drilled in. They took that off, and then they had this other thing, and they shoved a poison pill in it. You know. And it's just deep enough to get into what it's called, the bark that takes everything up.
Well, it's the bark that carries.
Yeah. So it's just that deep, and then they stick a plug in there to hold it, and that's how they're killing Bradford pears instead of spraying.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But anyhow, those ones in the front, nothing holding them back.
Oh, I picked up some brush killer. I went to the co-op. I said, I want the strongest scorched earthing nuclear brush killer you have available. And they said, I think we got what you want. Yeah, I got some. Because I've got, all my fence line. I've got it. Because trees are growing up in the fabric, or, the fence line. And I have the cyclone fencing, so once it grows in and twines in, done. You have to tear the fence out to get it out.
Yep.
So I'm going to go and do some scorched earthing on the property.
Is it called erase?
Erase.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if the product?
Product, yeah.
I don't know if it's called erase or not, but it's definitely a concentrate.
Yeah.
And, probably 2 teaspoons to 100 gallons. I'm like, no, it's going to be 2 teaspoons to a 1 gallon spray. Because I want it to decimate it. Now, Karen suggested, she says, she goes, what I used to do is I would cut them. I'd cut the stuff I want to kill, and then I would spray it, and it would just draw it right down into the roots. And I said, yeah, well, okay.
Too much work.
You go out there and cut them down, and I'll follow behind you. Yeah. No, she said, no, I don't want to do that. Her and Genevieve, that along the driveway we have those azaleas.
Mm-hmm.
Amongst the pine trees there. If you don't stay on top of that, it just gets overwhelmed.
Right.
And then, her and Genevieve went out there yesterday and scraped all those needles and branches and stuff out there. I said, I looked at it and I said, well, you girls did a good job. I said, if you really want to be, warrior at this, get it down to the bare dirt. And because that's what her uncle used to do. He was a landscaper. And his property was around his trees was bare dirt, right?
Yeah.
It was just so clean.
Yeah.
How he did his, and I said, you get it down to the bare dirt. Well, now they left this big row of pine needles and stuff, and Karen's like, you need to hook up your trailer and load this up. And I said, I didn't buy into your project here. You guys hook up the trailer and load it up. No, we can't do that. We're girls.
Pulled the girl card on you.
Pulled the girl card on me, yeah. Or old. Too old, I can't do it, or I'm a girl.
Yeah.
I'm offended by that. And
Yeah.
Where's my rights? I want my non-feminine right, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, you're going too deep. They would argue you right to the ground.
They'll just say, shut up.
Yeah.
Just do it.
There's always that.
That always works.
Yep, you can always talk all you want, and then they go, shut up and just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I was explaining.
I was trying to be nice, talking to an ignorant.
I was talking to one of our cousins at the park, and Susie, was talking to her, and I was telling her that now that I'm retired, I don't know what to do with myself, because you and I, in our careers, we have conditioned ourselves to structure, time management, go from this window to this window to a goal or to an objective. I don't have that anymore.
Nope.
And I just stand around and go,
Here, pass that over.
yeah. And so I was telling her, I said, she goes, well, I'm sure, Karen has things for you to do. I said, yeah, I've got a honey-do list. I said, she has a honey-do list. She says she wants something done. It moves over to my list. And if she screams or threatens me by saying, I know you have to sleep sometime kind of thing, then it moves up in the priority on my list.
Right.
That works, yeah.
Yeah. That's always a good threat. You have to sleep sometime.
You have to sleep sometime. You know where I heard that from? Diane. She was married to that idiot, Mike.
I never met Mike. You mean he was from Winston, wasn't he?
I think
No.
that was Mark. Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
She's
10
got
guys
so
she was
many
married
guys,
to.
I don't know. I can't keep up. There was Gary, Mike, Mark. I think his name was Mark. That's when they lived in Winston.
Yeah, Mark was ex-Navy, wasn't he? Oh.
No, this guy was a pansy. And then of course, the real guy that she should have married in the beginning. Well, except for Gary because he had beautiful children, but Tony. Anyway, I don't even know where I was going with that. I got dressed. Oh yeah, you got to sleep sometimes. She told that to Mike.
Yeah.
After he beat her one time, she just looked at him and said, "You got to sleep sometime." And I think he left shortly after that because he could see it in her eyes.
She probably went down to the hardware store and came back with like a bag full of super glue.
Super glue and probably a nail gun.
Yeah.
Blowtorch. Yeah.
I mean, it's, you could think, well, just super glue his, dick to his balls, but it'd be best to just super glue his hands to his chest and just beat the crap out of him. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Oh, Lord.
Which reminds me, David sent, you saw that picture of the 58 family reunion?
Yeah. And he asked you to see if you could find yourself in it. Did you find yourself?
Oh, yeah, I'm sitting on Dad's lap.
Oh. Okay.
Little, fat, curly-haired baby.
Oh, jeez.
So.
Still wish we could find that picture of you out at the coast, Ian.
Oh, I know. That's the most famous green picture.
It is the famous picture.
And, let's see.
Mom with a measuring stick, seeing the distance.
No, that's not what that was for. She's like, oh my God.
Wouldn't for your little pecker. For the distance of your hip. That was a good 7 foot string.
Yeah.
You were only what, 3?
Was I? Let's see.
You had some
No.
pressure.
Well, 2.5 probably.
Yeah.
So. So there's Dad, and that's me.
Who's next to you? Who's next to Dad?
I don't know who that is.
Is that Diane?
That's Diane holding up something, a little flower or something like that.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Peace sign or something?
Well, so that goes with what I said.
Something rebel-y.
Let's see, where's the
Which
comment?
couldn't have been more than 4.
So I go, yep, sitting on Dad's knee. Is that the wild child pre-hippie Sister Diane in front of Dad and me offering up a flower?
Oh, Lord.
And I go, also, look at Tom and Mary, Grandma and Grandpa. I says, they have that bewildered look of, what the fuck have we done? We've started a civilization.
Our society.
And I go, also, is that you sticking your tongue out? Wouldn't put it past you. So I was looking for Dave and Ted. That's one of them. I don't know if that's Dave or Ted.
I bet that's Dave.
I think that's Dave with his tongue sticking out.
Yeah.
Yeah, typical.
Yeah.
Right behind Grandpa.
Where's
No, wait,
Carol?
that's. Oh, she'd be with the girls somewhere. Let's see.
She's
Oh, there's
probably-
Carol. Let's see. Wait.
There she is, right there.
Yeah, that's her right
Carol.
there.
Is that her or is it, no? Yeah, that. Oh, I'm sorry.
That's
Yeah,
her.
that's her.
Yeah, that's Carol right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm kind of wondering, like, that looks. I think that's Gerald sitting next to Dad.
I bet
But who's that?
that's not Leon, is it?
No. Leon's over here. He's Mr. Fancy Pants. Let's see. That's Leon.
Oh yeah. Okay, there's Leon.
But I don't see DL.
Who could that have been? Maybe DL's the one taking the picture.
Somebody had to do
You
it.
can't have Dad do it because his finger would be in the lens.
I mean, look at all these people.
Oh yeah. Wow. Wow.
So anyhow, yeah, that's Diane, little flower child, and there's me. I'm so cute. I was the cutest.
Can't believe Dad let you sit on his lap.
I probably peed on it. There's typical Dad with the watch.
Oh, yeah.
Sleeves rolled up,
Yeah.
the watch.
I've got Dad's watch. His last one. His
Timex.
yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Blue-faced one.
No, I don't know.
Yeah. That
But
was actually my watch.
my-
Dad stole it from me.
My dad would always have a Timex. Takes a licking, keeps on ticking.
Yeah, he was sure sold on that
But
slogan, huh?
look at Grandpa and Grandma. They're like, God dang. Now that's Maisie right there.
Yeah.
That must be Aaron Reed right there.
Yeah.
Boy, he was old even in 58.
Wow.
That must be Tom's brother, William Green.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't know these people.
So there must be more mixed in here than just. It's the Green family.
The real green.
Holy moly!
The real green. Wow. Yeah, I saw that picture and David's comment, and I'm like, he ain't gonna find himself in there. Sure enough.
I've seen that picture before. I never took time to look at it. So there you go, Dave. Found me. I found me.
There it is. Now you guys didn't see the picture, but you can always go to David's Facebook page. Isn't that where he posted it?
Yeah, and if you don't know who he is, don't.
Yeah. Don't go there.
You'll piss him off.
Yeah. And he'll
Thank you so much. Your coffee's awesome.
There it is. Look, I just went right over it.
That
when you gonna let us go down and visit your farm?
When I can get away from here to take y'all that way.
Okay.
you'll want to do that.
Yeah?
Yeah, you cannot trust us.
Oh, well, it ain't
Don't
that.
don't turn your back on us. Yeah.
And then give you those images. And then she'll say, "Why is there a break in the video?"
Yeah. Oh, he
The
dropped it.
timestamps are like an hour.
Well, that's not really a break. That's where we put tape over it.
Oh, shoot.
Ah.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, yeah, so Karen and I are going to go to Vicksburg. She wants to go to Vicksburg and see the
The
war battlefields and stuff like that. And because I went and she hadn't been, therefore, you can't continue on. Until,
Right. You can't have those stories.
No.
Now I have to have mine. That's okay.
I have to own those stories.
That's why we have great partners.
Yeah. So we're going to go back to Vicksburg and spend a weekend there.
Well, that sounds like a great time.
Yeah, yeah. It's really cool. Have you been there?
No,
Have you
no.
not gone through Vicksburg? They have an ironclad boat there. Well, most of it's there. It was sunk in the river there, and they got it and they dredged it up. Very interesting. I certainly would not want to have lived on one of those boats. Especially when you go through it. Yeah, and this is where the other people live.
You know,
The ones that did the work.
the guys that they needed to hire to run those needed to be steel workers. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, this is nice and comfortable. You know, giant steam thing over there, burning all the time, hot. Oh, yeah.
But it's very cool. The museum itself, the battleground. You drive through and they've got monuments all over the place and stories about what transpired there.
The Battle of Vicksburg.
Yeah. So we're gonna go and do that, and you know, she can check that off her bucket list, I guess.
You got to go to Lynchburg and go to the Jack Daniels distillery, and you have to stop at Miss Mary Bobo's boarding house to eat.
Well, I know you talked about the distillery. What's Miss Mary Bobo?
Oh, it was a thing. I was doing work in Alabama. We were surveying some. They buried tons of chemical weapons and shit. So we were doing work down there, and on the weekend, I drove up to Lynchburg. I always wanted to go, and I didn't know about Miss Mary Bobo's boarding house, but it's very, very cool. And you have to make reservations because what it is they've taken the rooms and opened them up and made them, you know, like this big, and big long table, and you know, everybody comes in, sits down, and they serve you what they're serving.
Oh, yeah, you talked about that. Yeah, you talked
And
about that.
not just the food is awesome and Southern. It's just the company that you're keeping. I mean, like I said, like I told you before, you know, folks sitting next to me were from New York.
Right.
I forgot where these folks were from, but they were from out east somewhere. Lady from Melbourne, Australia. We had a lot to talk about,
Right.
and then some other folks. It's a really nice experience.
Well, and you just don't find that anymore.
No, but that place is famous.
Now, let me ask you a question. Of all those people who wrote bread together at that same table, how many of them had their phone out?
None.
Yes. Precisely my point. It's like you're here to do this thing called conversing.
Yeah, and but of course, no. I mean, people were still doing it back then, but I'm sure it might be more prevalent. They might have rules to it now. They never said anything because it was too interesting. That's what I blamed it on. It was too interesting. You know, these folks are here because they wanted to be there. Yeah. So, I highly recommend. And then the distillery is very interesting too. I mean, not just the fact that it's making whiskey, but it's the fact that, I mean, there's mathematics and chemistry and stuff. I love the fact they make their own charcoal. You know, the whole thing is just neat. And then there was that thing about the trees from making the alcohol, and it turns all the trees black around there, and the story behind that. So,
Real mathematics to do this, not that common cold crap.
yeah. And then there's the story of Jack Daniels, how he killed himself.
I don't think you shared that story.
Well, no, he basically killed himself because he was a little, you know, pissant.
His blood was all alcohol.
No, he was a little pissant, you know, half pint guy, and he always mad about something. Okay, well, he had in his office had a safe about the size of that right there. It's still there, and he was trying to open it one day, and he couldn't get it to open, and he kicked it. Well, he damaged his foot real bad, and that got gangrenous, and he ended up dying. So there you go. That's
Important safety tip.
Yeah.
Don't kick a safe.
Yeah. Unless you have steel toes on. Now, I wouldn't recommend that either.
He probably did it barefoot. Broke every toe in his foot.
But the whole process is cool. That's the third. I've been to 3 distilleries. Went to Wooford Reserve. That was kind of neat. I mean, first you got to find this place,
Yeah.
and it's in a hollow in the middle of nowhere in Kentucky, but it's neat. It's really cool. And then I went to Maker's Mark. That wasn't so. That was more like a. Okay, we have a tourist trap here, and we make whiskey. Yeah, that wasn't
As
so.
a side gig.
Yeah, that wasn't so much an interesting thing, but
We used to make it up in the holler, but the
one thing
agents didn't care for that.
Maker's Mark is in Frankfurt, okay? And when you drive in, man, you know there's whiskey going on. It just smells like sour mash everywhere, or whatever.
Paper mill.
Yeah, it's like a paper mill.
I can smell your town from 20 miles away.
Yeah, you can smell that. That's amazing. But they sold Maker's Mark. That belongs to a group out of I think Japan or China. I think it's China. It doesn't bug me. That's business. Okay, I'm not going to get concerned about it. But what really hurt my feelings was Franconia down here in McKinney. Franconia beer. I've told you about that. The first time I ever tried Franconia, I thought I was drinking the nectar of gods, and it was a Oktoberfest that I bought. I bought a case of this stuff, expensive, and I brought it home to make sure that Jeremy and I could sit down and drink a bunch of this, And by the time Jeremy came down, there were 2 bottles left. God, I could not.
You only going to give him one.
That's exactly what I gave him. One here. I'll share this with. I kept it out in my beer fridge. I just couldn't help myself, man. I'm like, grab one of those, pop the top off. And the cool thing about Franconia is they used natural carbonation. There was no pumping any CO2 in it. And I finally realized why Germans can drink so much beer. Because you can drink that stuff down when it's not highly carbonated,
And that's served at room temperature, right?
No, I drank it cold. Yeah, but last time we were down there, you can't buy it. It all goes to India. A guy from India bought it, and it all goes to India. You cannot buy Franconia anything down in McKinney.
So they manufacture it here, and it's exclusively distributed to India.
Well, this guy, he bought it to sell it, to send it to India. Now you can still take tours of the where they make it, and I imagine you could buy some there. I don't know. Next time I'm down there, I'm going to go because I want to see if I can buy at least a 6-pack or 2.
What's wrong with a canvas?
They even make a coloche.
Credit card.
They make a coloche that is really good.
Uh-huh.
What about that? Somebody puts some damn nickels and pennies in there.
So
They put nickels in it?
Hell yeah, if I hit them, their ass is gonna get run out of here.
Dirty ass dogs.
I mean, there's a sign right there, if you're caught, if there's anything other than a quarter in there, but I know what it is, but ain't never.
They should be taken out back and whipped. Nickels. Get a quarter machine. It's wrong. Don't do it. Tell him.
Oh. So anyhow, what were we talking about?
Beer that, well, see, and there was at the brewery there in Salem, they made a apricot amber. That beer was so velvety and flavorful that I couldn't stop drinking it either. And I wish I could find it was an amber, but it was creamy. I don't know how they did that, but it was just velvet on the tongue. Flavor was just explode.
There's a place in northwest Arkansas outside of Lowell. It's a brewery. They make some pretty good stuff, But and it's really funny. That was all dry up to 3 years ago, and now there's bars and breweries everywhere. It's perfect for that up there, you know. Um, I was going to tell you, have you watched Bosch yet?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you got to the point where he likes your beer?
Oh, the fat tire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I got to tell Dennis about that. I forgot.
Yeah.
Fat tire. Yeah, he's a fat tire
Yeah,
guy.
when that scene came on and they ordered a fat tire, I'm like, yeah, man.
That's my guy. That's my guy. Yeah.
We're bros now.
Yeah.
Here's the code.
No, I like a blonde Belgium.
Yeah.
I do, but the best I ever had was in Pueblo, Colorado, at a little brewery pub that they had down there. That was, and it's the same old thing. You know, we don't make it every week. You know, we do this every once in a while.
That's how that apricot was. It
Yeah.
was seasonal.
Yeah, and I had it twice, and that was it. See you next year. You know.
When Karen and I were in the, make-believe wine connoisseur
Oh yeah.
stage of our lives, using the pinky, drinking, sniff it, don't know what the hell. Oh yeah, that's woody. Oh, that's got some dirt in there. There was a winery there in town that made dessert wines, basically. That was their thing. They made dessert wines, but they made a muscadine wine
Mm-hmm.
in Oregon. Well, they had to get that all imported.
I'm sure.
But it was slam dunk the best tasting wine I'd ever had. Muscadine wine. Okay, I'll try it. Oh yeah, give me a case of that.
Yeah. You know, we used to, when we'd come down to visit, Liz and I, when we lived in Minnesota, they would, we came down and toured Altus,
Oh, okay.
Arkansas. That's where the wine country is here. And there was a new winery. I forgot the name of the vineyard. We caught it when it was when they were, just starting to sell. They didn't have anything fancy. Now they got a big fancy thing now, tasting place. And but we were driving around and we pulled into this place and they had a dessert wine in a blue bottle that was really delicious. So we bought 3 or 4 bottles to take some friends up north. And I'm telling you, every time we come down, they're like, "We want 5 bottles of that. 5 bottles."
It's like Oxycontin, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you're just addicted to it.
Yeah, but they made them with. They made this with Catawba grapes, because that's a natural grape here in Arkansas.
Okay.
And but I don't know what they sweetened it up with. Probably, corn syrup. But it was good though.
Honeysuckle.
It was delicious. It was delicious.
And someone squeezing those drops out of the petals.
And my favorite is should look it up. There's another winery there in Altus. It's one of the older, one of the originals. Okay,
Okay.
they still have their original label. Now labels, you can't just throw a label on it. You have to get it. You have to get it not just copyrighted, but you got to get it okayed
Yeah.
in Arkansas. Okay, they have the wine is called Big Daddy. Okay, it's a red wine, and it's the label that's so cool. It's a picture of Sonny Liston, the boxer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he was from Arkansas, and
Probably lived next door to B.B. King.
could be, but
Wait, B.B. King wasn't born in Arkansas, was he?
I don't think so. I think he was on Mississippi.
Mississippi.
Yeah, but long story short, that's the last original label in the wine. Now, there's all different kinds, but that's the last original, and it's just a boutique winery now. And whenever we'd go up there, I always stop and get a bottle of that, and because of the fact, it's the label there. God, I can't think of the name of it, but pretty good wine. They put up pretty good. Now, what I don't do is post wine. Post winery up there, because that's all pure commercial. A matter of fact, the girl that started the winery that we like the ice lace or the ice wine, dessert wine. She married one of the posts, so now that's all integrated and stuff. So
It was an arranged marriage.
and what's funny is so what's your story? Were you from around here? I said, no, I'm from Oklahoma. I went to school, became a lawyer, and decided I didn't want to do that, and then come out here. And she started that thing. Well, she bought an old winery, and then she got it going. And she said, I went to Europe and went to all the wine countries, and I literally just forced myself on these people to show me how to do it. I'm like, oh, well, that's one way to do it. She's like, I wouldn't give up. They'd like, nah, get away from me. You're American. Get out. Well, and she said, I got some really good recipes that some folks taught me how to do it, and so I'm like, okay, well, good for you. That's what it takes.
Well, that's what it takes.
Yeah. So anyhow, that's and if you look at the parallel, Altus is right in that area where right across the country there's wine being made right out to Oregon. It's on the same parallel basically.
That was what's so nice. Our last property that we owned there in Oregon, right over the little hill, was Willamette Winery. I always absolutely adored their Riesling wine, and you can actually buy that here in Arkansas.
Sure you can.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can buy Willamette.
I think I have bought a bottle of that Riesling.
Did
Yeah.
you? I love the Riesling.
My favorite is Pinot Noir. And they just make it the best in Willamette, and the Willamette Pinot Noir, all up through the valley there. Even the Umpqua Valley Pinot is great.
Well, and what was interesting about their Riesling, sometimes one season it would be a little drier, the other one a little sweeter, but they didn't add to it per se.
Yeah.
It was just whatever the grapes produce. That's what we.
Well, that's what you want.
manufacture.
Yeah.
And
That's why you have. This was a very good year.
yeah, exactly.
That one sucked.
And it was like.
Sell more of that.
98 was a good year of their Riesling because it had a good dry to sweetness balance to it.
Mhm.
And give me a case of that. My business partner, he had bought shares into Willamette, so it took off, and I'm sure he got a good return on that.
Oh, I'm sure. First case of wine I ever bought was in Minot. They had a sale. I didn't know anything about wines, but I figure, hey, that's good, cheap price, and I bought it. And a friend of mine threw a party, and I took it over there, and I said, hey, wine for everybody, and so everybody's drinking wine and all this stuff, and it's all cool and everything. Next morning, I went home, and next morning I get a call. He says, hey, you need to come over here, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I go over there, and he grabs this bottle. It's empty. He says, look inside the bottle. And I looked at it, I'm like, what? It looked like shards of glass in there.
Oh no!
I'm like, ah! So I went down to the place that I bought at the liquor store, and I says, I bought a case of wine here, and we all drank it. And I says, are we all going to die? And the guy's looking at it and said, oh my God, what is that? And I says, glass? Well, he says, let me do some checking on this. And he did some checking. This is interesting. He said what he got was, that's not glass, it's sugar. It's crystallized sugar.
Oh.
And he said what happened with this wine is the grapes got a bit of a frost before they were harvested. And because of that, it does something to the sugar content, and it crystallized inside the wine.
Little quartz crystal in there.
Yeah, so I went down for him to tell me this and everything. He says,
He
here's
gave you another case.
another case here. This for your trouble.
Try this one.
Yeah.
This was after the frost. Or before the
No,
frost.
it was the same thing. Had
At least
glass,
you know what it's not glass.
glass shards. As a matter of fact, when my buddy showed me that, I says, boy, I hope you were straining this through your teeth. He goes, no.
it's gonna cut you all the way through.
Yeah. So I went over to his house. I'm like, well, you're not going to die. Don't worry about it.
Nothing like glass in your urethra. Oh man. Yeah, wines. Wines. That's a real art. Boy, it's a real art to find that balance.
Yeah.
Because I've tasted, folks who have made their own wine, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't even use this on my saddle to soap it up. That saddle's soaked with water.
Liz went with me one time out to New Mexico for a conference, and I says, you might want to go with me because this conference is at a Hyatt, so it's really nice. They're outside of Albuquerque, a place called Bernalillo. There's this Hyatt. Okay, so here's town, and you just point out there, and it's out there somewhere. This place. So I told her, I says, ought to be interesting, Well, we ended up staying in Santa Fe, and then I drive down to the conference. And then one day I says, after 2 days, I said, look, you need to come down here. I said, they've got a spa and everything. I says, let's just give you a spa day while I'm doing my thing, That's the same conference that I went to, and I'm, for the second day, I step outside for a break, and people are walking up and saying, hey, how you doing? And shaking my hand. I've never seen these people before. And
Get away from me.
yeah, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing fine, great. And I'm not kidding. It was weird. People are walking up and shaking my hand and saying, glad to see you made it here. And okay. And so finally, this guy come up and says,
Shameless, famous.
this guy comes up and he's talking to me, basically saying the same thing. Glad to see you and all this. I says, well, let me ask you something. Who do you think I am? And he goes, huh? And he tells me who they were thinking I was. And it was the prior Secretary of Transportation of New Mexico. I guess he's just a really great guy, which makes me a great guy. That's the way it works.
Hey, through association.
But everybody liked
I
him.
don't even know the guy.
And so he says, oh my God, I got to tell everybody about this. And so I go back into my little place, and they're having a conference for DOT Arizona, or New Mexico in this other one. And finally he comes back out and he says, hey, the guy we think you are is coming tomorrow to talk. You've got to meet him, okay? And so I said, okay, great. So the next day, it's lunchtime, and he had just given his talk. And this guy grabs me. He goes, come on, you got to meet him. You got to meet him. So they dragged me up to this guy, and I'm looking at him. He's looking at me, and they had told him all about me. And I looked at him. I says, you don't look anything like me. And he goes, I know. I says, well, there's. I shook his hand. I forgot his
got
name.
100 pounds on me.
I shook his hand. I'm like, well, at least we agree on one thing. He says, I don't get it. Why did everybody think we look alike? And so I says, okay, nice meeting you. And I walk out. But what I was getting at was talking about wines. I had a friend that worked at Bandelier National Monument. He worked with me up in North Dakota. He took a job at Yellowstone, then went to Bandelier. And I told him, I says, hey, we're in town. I says, let's get together on Saturday and go to Taos. Because he lived in Espanol outside of Santa Fe. And so we drove up, picked him up, and, we're heading up the Rio Grande runs that way. And, we're driving up there, and I'm not kidding. I see this sign. It's a little winery, okay? And it says, chocolate infused wine. The car literally pulled itself over. Liz is like, yeah, I know. I pull up. I no more get it in park, and his wife, I can't think of it, Jerry and Liz are out the car before I can put it in full park, So we went up there and
Cash in hand.
we went up there and they had some chocolate infused wine. This guy, he studied winery in Oregon. He was from Oregon,
Okay.
Wine making, and he made
Went to U of O.
probably, yeah. They teach anything there.
Yeah, I know it.
Isn't that right, Dave? They just
Yeah.
teach anything
Yeah.
at U of O. Sorry, Nancy.
wonder they're called ducks.
But he made a port that was really good.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, it came in those smaller bottles. You know, here's a wine bottle and here's a port bottle. You know, and so
Alcohol content by weight 704.
so we
Don't
decided
smoke around it.
so I got his card and everything, and we ordered a couple of boxes of wine from him. You know, over the time, and it was coming up Christmas, and I decided, you know what? I never got the price of what the port was. I ordered a case of port.
Oh, geez.
That's like
Take out a
those.
second credit line on your mortgage.
When that stuff came in, I
Was
went.
that before or after 2008?
Yeah, I'm like, holy God! That's like those lobster I ordered that one time.
Yeah, right.
First time I ordered, they were only $6.50 a piece. The second time, they were $10 a piece, and I ordered 10 of them. So, but anyhow,
They were good.
but you know what? I kept it anyhow, and we had a big Christmas party, and everybody just loved that stuff. I guess. Here you go. I'll squirt a little bit in this glass. They loved that port. That was awesome. It was good though.
Syringe.
It was really good.
Glasses.
But I'll never forget chocolate. I'd never even heard of chocolate infused wine, but that car literally pulled itself over.
You know, that would have been with Karen too.
Yeah.
She would have definitely been in on that. Well, she would have first asked, "Do you think it's dark chocolate?" Or, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of our favorite stories in St. Paul. Liz was still, you know, finishing up school, still working. She had a bad day at work, and I told her, I said, "Look, I'll come pick you up, and let's go downtown." And I just took her from work to downtown, and our favorite place to go was the St. Paul Hotel because they had a bar in there, really nice bar. Okay, but the cool thing about it is that's where everybody went, and so you might be rubbing shoulders with the governor. You don't know, you know, just everybody, just down to earth.
Sure.
There wasn't none of that crap that you see, and it was just everybody just sitting having a good time. They didn't care if you were in Carhartts or if you were in tuxedo. You know,
Right.
you're just another person here to have a drink.
Right.
So I took her in. And I says, "Yeah, we got to settle you down," and went up to the bar. And we're sitting there, and I ordered a Cosmo for her, and I wasn't going to drink, so because I'm driving, because I'd have to, you know. Well, I was driving, so I wasn't going to drink, but it was for her, and
Pulling the responsible card.
so well, and it was winter, and there was snow, and it was cold, and all that stuff, you know. So
I'm here for her to get hammered.
yeah, well, she needs to be hammered.
That's more coffee.
In a little bit. Let me finish my story.
Okay.
So what happened was, while she's sipping on her Cosmo, the bartender is making a chocolate martini. Okay?
Oh.
And Liz sees chocolate this going in it, chocolate that going in it, chocolate this going in it. And then he used some kind of vanilla vodka, you know, and all this stuff. She goes, "I want one of those."
She does this with her Cosmo.
I want one.
One of those.
Yep. And
And a
I'm
tanker.
so we want one of those. So, and it wasn't in those little wimpy glasses. It was one of those big ones, you know. And so she gets that thing, and of course they squeeze chocolate, Godiva chocolate, all around the edge, and all this stuff, and some kind of Godiva liqueur went in it, and all this stuff. Liz starts sipping on this. Oh God, this is heaven! And she's sucking this down, and then she gets it down to where it's at the end. There's all kinds of chocolate. She's just eating
Trying
this.
to get that tongue down the bottom
Yeah.
there.
So we had a Volkswagen Jetta TDI at the time.
Oh, I remember that was blue.
Blue, yeah. And so I says, "Do you want another one?" She says, "I probably shouldn't have another one." And I don't remember if she had another one or not.
Yeah. Probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, but she got good and snockered. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So
Well,
I says, okay,
mission accomplished.
let's get you home and let you have a good night's sleep and I mean she's got this big fluffy coat on and stuff like this, and I'm walking her out holding her, and she's like, ah. We get out, get in the car, and like here's the hotel. Rounded the hotel, went into the front of it, and then caught the street, and it took us right by Mickey's Diner. Okay. Now Liz and I had a controversy with Mickey's Diner. You know,
Didn't
it's
you
like,
take us there one
yeah, I think we did.
Yeah,
It's a little diner downtown. Okay. Best pancakes on the planet to me. When I said that the last time we were in Murfreesboro, I said I have a standard. That's my standard.
Right.
Okay. But, Liz is like, we used to argue a little bit. It's not. She's like, that's not that good. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, not to me. I've had a lot of pancakes, a lot of places. That's the best.
Your taste buds, my taste buds.
So she wasn't a monster fan of it. I adored it, okay? But we're driving up and everything, and all of a sudden she goes, I want some pancakes. I just looked at her, I'm like, you are
Chocolate syrup on them.
I'm like, you are drunk. So we whipped in there, went in, and got a booth, got her away from people because she was getting kind of yappy now.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I'm walking her in. She's kind of like, and you remember how tight space that was.
Oh, yeah.
And so
Wasn't it
it was
train?
it was a train car
Yeah.
diner, whatever they call them. But anyhow, we
Diner car.
diner car. Yeah, we sat down and at the very back, okay, with a booth and everything. And so waitress comes over and gives us some water and everything, and this is like, I want pancakes. And I go, we'll take 2 orders of pancakes.
Okay, Karen, we'll get to you.
And Liz she's really, yeah, hey, hi. This kind of, she's a real happy drunk.
Oh, geez.
And people are like, hey, they knew, they got it,
Yeah.
She's had enough. So we get our pancakes, and before we get our pancakes, she knocks over the glass of water, starts, now she's starting to get it messy and stuff. But we have she ate all her pancakes. And so, we got up to leave, and everybody's like, hi, bye. They're telling Liz bye, And so I pay.
Everybody's got a little store they take home.
Yeah. So I pay for it and everything. We walk out, go down the steps, and she's like, and I'm holding her, and we're walking towards where Mickey's is at is a 4-way stop, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right downtown, 4-way stop. We get out and we're walking up, and as we're walking to the car, she's making us move back and forth because she doesn't have a good handle on her equilibrium. St. Paul's Finest pulls up. Gonna pull up to the 4-way.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm like, oh, this is never gonna be good. So I take her to the car. I put her in the car, put the seatbelt on her, and I come around and I start the car. The lights changed about 3 times. They're waiting for me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so I pull out, and I'm like, they're gonna pull me over, but that's okay. I hadn't been drinking, so I wasn't worried about it. And so I pull up to the light. They're here. While we're sitting for the light waiting, another one pulls up. Another police car pulls up.
Oh, my God.
And while we're sitting there,
Oh,
down the hill where the NPR place was at, I watched it. This car pulls out and goes down a one-way the wrong way, turns and goes the one way, and both cars go and took off. And so I got her home and everything. I asked her the next morning, "You remember any of this?" Nope.
I remember chocolate. I remember maybe pancakes.
Nope. Nope. She's like, I don't remember that. I'm like, I told her the whole story. She's like, that really happened. I'm like, yeah, it really happened. I says, yeah, you had us looking bad, and but I did my job. I got,
And that
it was her birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Liz.
Oh, happy birthday, Liz.
Yep.
Let's see, you're 29, right? Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
That's what I did with the waitress that place.
Yep. Yeah. Let's not get into age and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember the comment you made. It was so.
I said, don't do it. That's
Well,
what I
you
said.
told me not to do it. And of course, I'm like, well, now the gauntlet's been thrown.
I told
How
you
old are you?
she was setting us up. Hey, you better get us some more coffee, bud.
Yeah, and you know, she did do this to me.
She did she?
She did. She said,
Well, that means she's still a pup.
I told her she wasn't a day over 29.
Yeah, that only gets you so far.
19. No, I said
This is
19.
all going on today. They say try to put Donald Trump in prison. They don't care who does it. Multiple charges, multiple outrageous charges, multiple phony judges, Democrat prosecutors. They said there's two countries involved. While Joe Biden's trying to put Donald Trump in prison and is reporting to our media.
Day over 19.
He's also trying to destroy the government in Israel simultaneously.
So this fellow was upset that someone threw nickels in here.
Yeah, don't do that again.
I don't see it.
On the streets of Israel cities, as Iranians, Palestinian, Lebanese, Syrian, Iraqi, and Yemeni proxies maintain and escalate their operations against the United States. Unmoved by this state of affairs, Israel's far left.
Whatever, who cares?
Oh, well,
Ain't gonna get rich off those.
not today. What do you got going on today?
Well, today I expect to be involved in the glorious taking up.
Oh,
Is that how they say it in the Thessalonians?
stupid.
No, I got some more stuff to throw in a pile, so I'm gonna get that done. Liz wants all this stuff done, which I don't blame her. Before knee time.
Have you got? So, what was the cardiologist report?
Everything really good.
Okay, good.
I mean, as a matter of fact, I didn't tell you about the stress test, did I?
No, you haven't told me that.
Oh, okay, all right. So we go in there, and of course they're not going to put me on a thing because of my knees. I'd be like, I don't think my heart rate's going to get up because I'm not going to go very fast. So they gave me the chemical induced thing, right?
Oh, okay.
Have you ever had that?
No, well, I've had the nuclear test.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's what.
Full of plutonium, and then.
Well, that's what that is.
Oh, okay.
That's a stress test. So when they first talk to you about it, it's like, oh, this could happen, this could happen. You might feel faint, you might,
Die.
you could drop out on the floor and all this stuff. So you've never done it before. That kind of weighs on you a little bit. Not going to forget about it.
Right.
So I'm thinking, well, now my heart rate's going to be up and blood pressure up because I'm, a little bit concerned. I don't know how this works. So finally, they get me all, they set me all up and get the IV in and everything, and then I have to go back and wait 20 minutes because they stuck the nuke stuff in you.
Yeah.
And so I'm waiting and everything. Liz is laying down, snoring away. I sat over here. Yeah, no, I don't know who that is, but she seems comfortable. I think she came off the street.
She likes chocolate.
So anyhow, they finally came out and got me, and I went back in. Then they sit me down, and I hear this. They do the picture thing, that takes 8 minutes or whatever and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and I'm talking to the cardiologist. We're talking and everything, and they're like, two of the technicians are like coming over with all kinds of syringes, and I'm waiting for okay, now be ready for this because I've been prepped, right? And then it was I'm still talking to him and everything, and lady comes over and says, "You okay? You feel okay?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I feel fine." I'm like, "Is that it?" They go, "Yeah, it's all over." I'm like, "Well, thanks for scaring the crap out of me." Well, the guy goes, "Well, we have to kind of give you the, over the top stuff just to help you understand if it happens."
Yeah.
So
You're prepared.
So nothing. Everything's working and ticking, and what they do is they create a baseline, and then they give you the stress, and then they figure out, okay, everything was zeros,
Oh.
and my blood pressure nice and just right, heart rate fine.
Very cool.
So I guess I'm okay.
Very cool.
And now I told Liz, I went in, I says, well, now that we got this data, I says, I guess maybe the purple pill is, or blue pill is important now. Maybe I ought to talk to the doctor.
I got a bunch of them. The generics. Give them to you. They don't do nothing for me. I just popped 2 of them one time. I'm saying, let's see what this does. Didn't do nothing. I just don't make nitrous anymore.
Don't make nitrous anymore.
Yeah.
But no, it went well, so that part's done. Liz called to find out, did you get all the okays? Because they went to the dentist, they went to the primary, and they went to the cardiologist. And evidently they didn't have the dentist paperwork. And when we called...
Freud yet.
No, that's coming. But they hadn't received the dentist thing. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's one of the first things. So hopefully they have it now. Liz goes, I hope you get it hope you have your knee surgery on the 26th, your birthday. I'm like, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Why did she say that?
Because she's a mean, evil person. And she keeps
No more chocolate for you.
she keeps me around for fun.
More like, she keeps me around because you're funny. Wait till you have to wipe his butt.
Yeah, no, that's
How
for
fun you like that.
that's for Tia. I told Tia that. Oh, I told you Tia got. I didn't tell you Tia got COVID. She's recovering for COVID again. This is her second time, and she's like, well, and of course, as soon as she
Don't you
tested,
know how she contracted it? And just there.
dude, now it's like
Yeah.
it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
I mean, I do understand the herd thing is probably taking care of a lot of it, and it's going to eventually find its way
It'll
out.
burn its way out.
But there's still a chance for it. But Chloe didn't have it, and Jim doesn't have it. So, and then,
They lock her in a room.
well, she locked herself.
Feed her from under the
Hers started in her throat real bad. We thought it was bronchitis when we were talking to her first,
Oh, I see.
and then she decided to test, and she tested and went, oh no! So she's on Paxlovid, which is the magic. If you get it, get that.
Yeah.
I promise you. I mean, I'm telling you, for me, it was like after 2 days of using it, I wanted to go out and mow the yard and do stuff. I felt good, but that's because it's basically all steroids,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think I've probably got I gotta stop shaking this table. Video's going like this. Until a new strain comes out, and, it's all mutated.
yeah.
It's got a third eye and stuff. That's all right. That's all right.
Well,
It should burn itself out eventually.
Well, they all do because we finally get immune to it totally.
Yeah. Of course, COVID's been around for a very long time. It used to run around the livestock for centuries. So
And they just really can't understand because they don't realize that they've been found out. It's like the
I guess
cat
I called
that sticks
it.
its head under the curtain and its entire butt is out there, but it thinks it's completely hidden. That's the Democrats.
yeah. So today I don't
And they
know.
don't understand.
I'm not sure what I. Of course, you don't want a short window. Got a short timeline because the celestial bodies are gonna.
I'm looking.
expose the aliens on the other side of the sun.
Yeah.
On the moon.
I don't know. I'm gonna go out boot hunting. I want to find all those boots that are good. Dibs on the boots. Do I need to repeat the story where I got that?
Yes, I think you should.
Okay, the dibs on the boots thing is from a friend of mine. Can't think of his first name. Reinhardt was his last name. We worked together in Minot on the Rivet Mile project, and he was a good guy from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. But he was in the Air Force down in Las Vegas. And of course, I can't think of the name of the Air Force base right now. But Um, so he and some bunch of buddies they were all into skydiving. And I said, "Oh, so you were a skydiver?" He says, "Not me."
No.
He goes, "All those idiots I used to hang out with, they were skydivers." I said, "Oh, okay." And and he told me one time, he says, "Everybody I know that I knew are either dead or they've been injured by skydiving."
Oh, great.
That's how much they did. Okay, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." But
Probably like an everyday occurrence.
he told me about the story about this guy. He jumped out and everything, and that day they were the pickup. They'd go pick him up out in where they were diving, or the landing spot. And he said he jumped out, and all of a sudden his chute failed, and instead of it just going straight down, it started swinging him like this as he's coming down and coming down, which is a good thing because and when he got into that, his other parachute won't kick open. So here he is coming down, and they realize, oh crap! So they run out there, and he finally hits the ground, but he hit the ground at an angle instead of straight in. Okay, hit the ground at an angle, and he said, I think they had like a Jeep, an open Jeep or something like that, and they get out there where he's at and everything, and this one guy jumps out and says, "Dibs on his boots."
That's so wrong.
I know. So they all run up there, and the guy goes, "I'm not dead yet." So that's
Actually, I'm feeling better.
that's where the dibs on the boots thing came.
That's funny.
And spent years paying back. All of those people are being treated unfairly.
That guy was a pretty cool dude. His wife was oncologist. I was trying to think of that name. Doc Epstein's nurse in Minot there. Tragic story on him. He died from aneurysm. Just one of those things, life is good, I'm dead. That kind of
That
thing.
fast, too.
Yeah. That's the way to go, man.
Yeah.
Uh,
In your sleep.
yeah, and she ended up dying from cancer. I wonder. But
For you. Did Dad die in the VA hospital? Because I was
Yes.
still overseas.
yes, I think I'm the last one to talk to him.
Were you?
I called him one night just to see how he was doing, and boy, he was really struggling, breathing and everything. Matter of fact, he seemed a little bit out of it, and we talked a little bit, and then he said, "I really got to go. I'm not doing so well." He passed away the next morning. But yeah, he died in the VA hospital.
I thought he did. Because I visited him the first round when he was sick. I flew in from Australia. And he was in the VA hospital. And of course he was doing, the same kind of breathing treatments that Diane was doing.
Yeah.
And, I think Aaron had asked me that or something, or it came up in conversation, and I go, wow, you know what? I really don't recall if he was at home or
No, he was in the hospital. Every time I think of that hospital, I always think of that guy when you and I walked out and cease fire. Guy spread eagle on the ground. Cease fire. Cease fire. What a horrible place to live, huh?
PTSD.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sad thing.
Talking about aneurysm, Tia worked in Minneapolis at the REI up there. And she was their main rock climber person. She ran the climbing rock. And she said every day this gentleman would come in. He was 82 years old. He was a retired doctor. And he always wanted me to belay him. So she said she called me. She told me the story afterwards, but she called me one day. She was totally upset. And this guy was climbing, got to the top, rang the bell or whatever they did, and he just kind of like fell forward. And she's like, "Okay, that's enough. We got to get you down. Come on."
No.
Aneurysm.
No.
Died up there. I guess, can you say he died doing what he liked? But she got him down. She did CPR. They, got the ambulance there. He was gone, and it was an aneurysm. And I says, well, that's the life experience. I says, the first death I didn't witness it, but came up across was in Derrick's. And I don't know if you remember, they had a roller skate place with a tent on it, with a tent over it. Do you remember that? So I went down there to go roller skating, and there's EMS or whatever they called them back, the ambulance and cops and stuff and everything, and they were on this girl. I think she was 16 years old. They were just giving her CPR and everything. Gone. And the story I got was she had bent over to adjust her skate, and she stood up and just collapsed.
That was it.
Yeah. And the interesting story is her brother died 2 years before, riding a horse. Same thing.
Wow.
He just folded forward and fell off the horse. He was dead. Boy, don't want that in your family tree.
Could that have been a hereditary thing?
I don't know, but it sure kind of seemed like it.
Twice in their family,
Yeah,
apparently,
yeah.
or at least that we know of. Wow.
As it moves through the United States, so if you're
Well,
outside of
quick.
100 miles, you might see some of it, but you're not going to see the totality that you see within that.
There it is. Let's see. 152 and being Little Rock. So
Yep.
between 142 and 152, we'll see the aliens parked on the moon.
Yep, and I'll be picking up boots for all you raptured evangelicals.
And I'll be doing
Oh.
nothing.
I don't know. You're kind of religious.
I don't have boots on.
Well, then I'm not interested in it. But that's a fine looking watch.
Well, you'll have to take the phone too, because it kind of.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just look in your blue jeans.
It's not just that it gets darker,
Oh.
the light changes, the colors change, the temperature changes, and I think that it's something that if
Man, I
you
tell you,
have a
it
chance
just
to see it and you miss it,
celestial
you're gonna
events
regret it.
just make people just do weird things, full moons, these kind of things.
I can't wait to see how the dogs do. Now, that fluffy,
Birds are gonna roost too, I bet you.
the fluffy cat, she'll be like, whatever.
Kind of how
Here.
I am.
Whatever, let me push this off the table.
And so it's a very unusual experience that I think
Oh.
everyone's gonna
Let me see how gravity works.
I think I'm going to get some clothes and put them out on the yard. Get some of my old boots and just have them sticking up. That'll be fun.
You gotta have the britches coming out of the boot, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll do that. That'll freak everybody.
Take a picture too.
Yeah. Why did he take that heathen? You mean he was right?
He did believe in flat Earth?
Yeah, here, let me push that off the edge.
Captured the country.
Oh,
This puts
oh my
science
gosh.
at center
Well,
stage. What should we take away from science?
should prove to be an interesting day.
that science
I hope
Yeah.
it's not so crowded in the town of Nashville that I can't get back home.
changing whatever, so it's
I
That's
have to take the back road.
tough.
These out of towners don't know the back road.
I don't know. I saw one of those Google Earth rigs go by my house 2 days ago. At first I thought, is it? It is. Got the antennas and the cameras and he was high speeding it.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know went so fast. He's high speeding it.
And they update that data, I don't know, every 6 months or maybe every year.
What's cool is I've got my Biden sign sitting out. It'll be on it. I've got to watch. I bought a Biden sign with the burning eyes. Did you see
I
it?
see it. Well, here's the thing. I was out in the yard because I had bought this little $100 drone. I told you about it.
Yeah.
Well, I was looking for it. I think it landed in one of my neighbor's yards, and they picked it up, gave it to a kid or something.
Or mowed it.
Mowed. Well, I mowed twice, and I haven't heard a. So anyway, I was out there looking for that when that Google car went
Yeah,
by.
yeah.
I thought, oh, I wish I would have saw it sooner. But I didn't.
Now the kids bought me a what you call it, drone, couple years ago. The cool thing about that one is if it gets out of your range, it literally drops down to 4 feet
Yeah.
and holds
Yeah.
until you can find it,
Yeah.
or it runs out of batteries.
Not this one. It just said, I'm free. Oh my God. Oh, here's a story. We're coming back from the park.
Wait. Remind me to tell you Rick and Morty scene.
Oh wait, no, go Rick and Morty. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So one of the episodes, Summer gets enlarged by this machine that Rick had in the garage because she wanted big boobs, and so she ended up enlarging herself. She screwed up, and so Morty gets, opens the garage door, and she's like, ah, and so he gets the machine out and stops it from doing everything, and Mom is like, because Rick is off planet, and Mom is trying to figure out what to do for her daughter, who's now 50 feet, 25 feet tall, and stuff. And so she starts pushing buttons, and she ends up turning her inside out. It said reverse, and she goes, well, all we have to do is do the reverse. She goes, well, if this was built by spider people, that might be something different. Well, no, it's got to be reverse. And it turns her inside out, But, okay. But the funny thing is they're trying to figure out what to do with her, and she's trying to figure this machine out. And Morty's like, "Let me call Rick." No, don't call my dad. Blah blah blah. And so she says, "Look, there's a number for help on here." So she calls the number, and you see these three guys at these consoles, and yes, can I help you? Oh yeah, I'm having trouble with this machine. Blah blah blah. Oh, okay. Well, let me help you out with there. If you look on the side of the machine, you'll see a little door. And she goes, yeah. And there's a button right next to that door. She goes, yeah, push that button. And so, okay, she pushes the button. Door opens. These three guys run out. Free, we're free. So that's all I wanted to tell you.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, okay. So we were coming back from the park, and turning on one of the streets, and there's a couple of kids, little bitty blonde gal about that tall, and I guess her brother was sitting out there, slushies, right? Anyway, so a couple of houses down on the right, a couple of boys there were making, or one of the other boys was making slushies, tropical punch slushies, $2. So I said, I think we need a slushie. So I pull in, and what's so interesting about this story and made me chuckle is I'm out there talking to the kids while he's making the slushies. And I asked one of the boys, I said, so what are you going to do with your earnings from the slushies? And this other boy says, well, we're going to save the money. And this boy says, well, I'm saving mine for a cruise. And I says, I got a brother that's doing the same thing, making slushies, save money to go on a cruise.
Yeah. Good luck, kid.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I know someone else is doing that.
Good
Not
luck.
necessarily selling slushies, but he's doing the same thing. He's going on a cruise.
Yep. I really want to do that too. But what was I going to tell you? I forgot. I don't know.
Well, we should probably get out of here. 10 to 10.
Woo.
The women are probably wondering where we are.
They don't care.
We're free. We're free.
They don't care. They know they got us reeled. Anytime they want us, they got us.
Hey, Jan's. We're at Jan's Country Store on your way to Ashdown, just outside of Mineral Springs. Come on in and visit. She sells beer, so if you need beer.
Yep.
She sells wine. She sells wine.
I don't know. Wine
She
coolers.
sells beer. Anyway,
Yeah, it
so
looks like some kind of wine over there.
good
it-
breakfast.
It's post wine.
Anyway, you guys have a great day. And what's that? Oh, I think what I'm going to do, I've been posting these just on Facebook. I'm going to put them on Ramblin' Ray channel.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
Now our
I'm gonna go back
narcissism stepped up a little bit.
I'll go back and re-upload these on the Ramblin' Ray Today channel, and I think that's a good place for it to be, these to be, and still put them on Facebook, but they'll take them over to YouTube.
Yeah. Okay.
Who cares?
Well, you got Facebook people that want to see
Well,
this.
yeah, it'll be on Facebook.
Yeah, and
but,
don't deny them.
no.
I mean,
This is our PSA,
and this is what David watches it on. So
and we will make sure it's there.
yeah.
Have a great day.
Oh, one other thing. Dave told me he wants to buy us breakfast again, buy our lunch.
Where's $100 for
Oh, and I was talking to him. I
Is
said,
he gonna expect a book back or something?
I don't know what he expects, but I told him, he was telling me about it. I got to get it out to you. And I'm like, yeah, I says, we are entitled.
Yeah.
We're going to act entitled,
We
David.
can send you a bill.
Yeah.
We can send you a bill, brother.
How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can write it off on your taxes.
Breakfast of our choice, obviously. So, yeah.
Yep.
So we'll head to Little Rock or something like that.
Or Hot Springs at least.
Hot Springs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're out of here. Peace.